3. Three, 2, 1. And we are live and we are back. Let's go. I'm Cory, your host, one half of the Cory and FinallyFit podcast. I'm back like I never left with another installment of Money Mindset here on the Cory and FinallyFit podcast. We discuss health and wealth, finance and fitness, and everything in between. We want to make sure you save more, save less, and keep making better your best. Yes, yes. However, my co-host Jordan went on paternity leave. We started these Money Mindsets, originally known as Wealth Wednesdays, where we get straight to the financial information, no filler in between. And I know y'all see the topic of today's video. We're going to get back into the mortgages. Last episode, we talked about how childcare used to be as much as daycare. Now childcare used to be as much as daycare. Daycare used to be as much as going to college. And now we're talking about daycare being as much as rent in all 50 states, and as much as a mortgage, the average rent, average mortgage in 45 states. So now we can get into, are the homes overvalued? Oh, shout out to the bubble, shout out to the panorama running the prices up. Look, y'all, it's a scary hours out here. We're going to get into some insight. We're going to go to Yahoo Finance today. But before we get started, y'all know what to do. Make sure you comment, like, share, subscribe. Shout out to the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you leave those rating reviews on the podcast platforms as well. My information, as well as my co-host Jordan information, can be found in the description on YouTube. Jordan Stop Stalling J on socials. I'm sideline_Cory on socials. And then Jordan's business page is FinallyFit.live, where you can go to sign up for the 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time virtual training sessions. All right, there's one more thing. I think I'm supposed to tell y'all to comment, like, share, subscribe more often throughout the video. I can't remember what I was supposed to do throughout. Anyways, I write some stuff down for the show, but not everything. Monthly car payment. We're not gonna get into the monthly car payment. We'll do a recap again for, I believe, this month, June. We got a new car being $735 for a monthly car payment, and used car $523. All right, that's egregious. Student loans, still nothing on student loans. I saw an article that I planned on covering. I was thinking about doing today, but it was too short. It was just about Biden forgiving, like, I don't know, some large number for some type of worker. It wasn't that big. It wasn't that big of a deal. We waiting for some more student loan information to drop, see how upset people are going to be, or maybe it's time to stop discussing student loans. Maybe I need to get rid of this little banner here. Maybe student loans, depending on what happens this election season, is not going to be that big of a deal for the upcoming president. Right? It's going to be President Biden or President Trump. Right? President Trump. Yeah, you got all them felonies now, so we'll see how that's going to go. All right. Last but not least, this is for entertainment purposes only. Myself, nor Jordan or fitness or finance professionals. Anything you hear is for entertainment purposes only. You need to seek out a professional and do your own research before taking any action. All right, I know I'm forgetting something. Oh, I can't remember. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Are homes overvalued? I was probably gonna say, look, I'm still trying to figure out how to get the not figure out. I'm still troubleshooting my my screen share issues with the volume. I got stuff queued and ready to go. I'm just having an issue for the taking out of context for the videos I want to play. Not showing properly, so I might have to dig through and find some older ones with text. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Are homes overvalued? Again, I told you we're going to Yahoo Finance today. Technically, Market Watch. When I go to Market Watch, though, their link, I can't pull it up, so I had to go to Yahoo Finance, which I guess is showing Market Watch, and I get to read the article. Anyways, Market Watch will make you pay money. Homes are overvalued in much of the U.S., with these 5 states leading the list. Now, speaking of childcare, on the last episode, how 45 states have childcare being more than the average mortgage price. Is that due to these homes being overvalued? Because in that article, it was just overall, my assumption is, though, that those were recent homes, like homes bought essentially around another panorama versus like all time. But if it includes all mortgages just out, that That's insane because, people had, got mortgages, 10, 20, almost 30 years ago. And so it'd be interesting to see, if this is going to get into exactly the price of mortgages and the price, but how much people are paying for a mortgage. And again, this is by, all right, y'all, shout out to the first time listeners. This is your first time tuning in. We've had a great run of the names of these authors not giving me hell. That run is officially over. And I apologize to this person. Arathi Swiminathan. I'm going to say Arathi or Arathi Swiminathan. All right, this is May 14, 2024. All right, here we go. The most overvalued housing market in America is Memphis, Tennessee. I ain't getting that. I ain't gonna get into that. Anyways, homes in 90% of major metropolitan areas in the U.S. are overvalued, with the sharpest increases recorded, in southern states, according to the new report. Shout out to Atlanta. Well, it's probably gonna be Atlanta/Georgia, Florida and Texas. My assumption. I guess Tennessee counts, right? Memphis, Tennessee. Anyways, the South. The states with the biggest increase of homes being sold at prices over the long-term average were Tennessee, Arkansas, South Carolina. So I was completely wrong with Florida, Georgia. And that was on the screen, but as y'all know, I don't read these articles ahead of time. But Florida, Georgia, and Texas is not it. But Tennessee, Arkansas, and South Carolina. Tennessee and Arkansas border each other. So interesting there. So South Carolina. Here I go. You're always being distracted. I don't know if South Carolina borders. I know North Carolina does. Does South Carolina border Tennessee? It does. No, it doesn't. Georgia and North Carolina do. And multiple other states, but South Carolina doesn't. Anyways, so here we go. This is according to a report by Fitch Ratings, which looked at prices in the fourth quarter of 2023. All right, here we go. Fitch Reports said that, what is it, Fitch Reports? Yeah, Fitch Ratings said that homes were overvalued nationally by 11.1% at the end of 2023, which was little change from the prior quarter. So coming out of 2023, homes, I guess stayed relatively at where they should be, as far not where they should be, quarter to quarter, not increasing, but just coming out the end of 2023, we're seeing a 11.1% overvalue, according to Fitch Ratings. The typical existing home in the U.S. was sold for a median price of $381,400 in December, according to the National Association of Realtors. National average rent that month was $1,950. See, and that makes sense when we talk about the child care, how child care is more than rent in every single state, because child care, and that's the average rent just that month. Yeah, that's for the whole nation. Yeah, for the whole nation, child care is over. $2,000, unfortunately, now. And Fitch said, based on Zillow ZG data, I was not sure what the Z and ZG, anyways, what those stand for. While a recent increase in the number of home listings in some markets is promising, suggesting that the housing market is showing early signs of normalization. What does normalization mean? Does that mean staying in the 6-7% range, or going back down to the 2-3-4% range that people want to be at, so they can get back into the market? And if that happens, if you want to see a flood into the market, if you want to see some crazy competition again, let them put interest rates crazy low again. A lot of the pent-up demand out there is crazy, and that competition will be fierce if they were to do something like that. Fitch noted that the pace is being tempered by persistently high mortgage. I promise you, I don't read these articles ahead of time. And when I say ahead of time, I mean I don't even look ahead enough to make it seem like I'm intentionally talking about the next sentence. But yes, the high mortgage rates, in theory or in principle, are to help temper the housing market and the escalation of home prices. They're not doing too much about the escalation of home prices. All right, we're talking about 11.1% overvalue, and the value of homes still going up. And on average, in mass, real estate goes up. So I mean, the prices aren't going to go down in mass. That's what millennials are complaining about in Gen Z, that the prices keep going up, which is how stuff works. But still, the 30-year mortgage rate averaged at 7.09%. This is May of this year, 2024. Market Watch recently highlighted how some homes are selling for far over their asking prices. There's still some far over asking prices. Still, I thought that was a pandemic thing. See, I thought the panorama people were done, but I guess not. I guess the people who weren't able to buy a home because they got outbid insured during the panorama, they getting out there and they still using that mindset and just overpaying for these homes. Homes are selling for far over their asking prices, with home buying demand outpacing the number of properties on the market. Again, which I think on a previous article, maybe not a previous article, but as far as the actual topic, where we discussed about the housing crisis when it came to God, what's that term? Oh, them having the supply chain. There we go, supply chain for building homes, and how the rate that new homes are being built is still not up to what it needs to be. So by definition, if new homes aren't being built fast enough, you're just banking on people wanting to sell their homes. But most people want to sell their homes and move to a newer home, right? Second place is only good when you buy a home. Shout out to Los, but King Los as it's called now. But if people who currently live in a house, they don't want to give up their interest rate and they can't find the home that they want to live in, then what are they supposed to do? I mean, they're sitting there, right? So then it's hard for people who are renting to get a home, because the people who are in a current home, which is more in their price range, aren't able to move because the new homes are being built fast enough. And you get the people who already have a home, they're not able to move into a new home. I mean, it's just crazy. And then the opposite, the people who are renting who want to buy new homes as well, right? So, I mean, that's not helping. Here are the top 5 states where homes were most overvalued according to Fitch ratings, with home price data obtained from Redfin. So here we go. At Tennessee, the highest was 6.2%. Memphis, Tennessee, they said was the highest here. Annual change in home price 6.2%. Median sales price in March 2024 was $378,600 in Tennessee. Let me look. I mean, Tennessee, I know, I think it's Williamson County in Nashville. I think it's one of the wealthiest counties in the nation, but as a state, let me look at the average income. The average household income in Tennessee is saying is $90,000. All right, that's average. Let's look at median. Okay, yeah, median income in Tennessee. Okay, 64,000. Yeah. Well, y'all can look. Anyways, Arkansas 5.9% as far as annual change in home price. And their houses were selling for $250,000. South Carolina 9.4% was a change, but their sale price was $370,000. Montana, I would have never guessed Montana wouldn't make the list, but I believe people were moving from California over into Montana, maybe even Vegas over to Montana. I believe that was one of the places that the California mass exodus people, I believe, were going. I remember seeing something about that, how there was a small town, I believe it was Montana. It's Montana or Wyoming, one of those states over there in the Northwest. And then they just built like all these homes like right in front of like this bar or something crazy. And then the people who work at that bar can't afford the homes. They're like directly across the street or something insane. There's a lot, I believe, wealthy people living there. All right, Montana, 3.8% is how much their annual change in home prices, and then $535,000 on here. So even though they're saying Memphis, Tennessee has the highest overvalue, so over $500,000 that the median sales price is in March 2024 for Montana. And Alabama, 4.3%, $272,000. I would have not guessed the South would have been where we're seeing home prices being overvalued. But when you think about it, the South, known for just being cheaper in general, not cheaper, but I don't want to use the word cheaper. Compared to other parts of the country, things don't cost as much. There we go. But there should be a word should be used better than cheaper for that whole phrase. But since things don't cost as much in the South, during the pandemic, a lot of people were moving from some of these higher cost of living areas and moving to the South, mainly Florida and Texas. But my guess is some people ended up going, I understand Tennessee as well, Florida, Texas, and Tennessee. But I guess Arkansas, South Carolina, and Alabama got some of that spillover as well. And then people are, in short, taking their equity that they had in their home in these higher cost of living areas and bringing that money, right? It comes with them, right? When they sell their home to these lower cost of living areas. And then thus, as you can probably see, the quote unquote overvalue situation occurring, because people say, well, I got the money. I mean, my house was double. I'm paying 50%, a quarter off of what I was paying, and I'm getting more land and more space in my house as far as square footage, things of that nature. So people, I might be overpaying or overvaluing the house, but it's still less than what I was originally paying. That's a lot of people's mindset when they're moving to different parts of the country where the cost of living is lower. Most overvalued metro area in the U.S. Fitch ranked the 50 most populous metropolitan areas in the U.S. by how much they were deemed to be overvalued. Among the 50 most populated metro areas, home prices were most overvalued in Memphis, Tennessee, Buffalo, Chautauqua, Niagara Falls in New York, so Niagara Falls, Buffalo, and Indianapolis, Carmel, Anderson, and these are different. I'm thinking like, this is one place? There we go. So Buffalo, Chautauqua, Niagara Falls in New York, and then Indianapolis, Carmel, and Anderson in Indiana, Fitch said. Home prices were higher than the average long-term averages in those areas due to high demand as well as rise in rents. I had an old coworker at my last position. Her and her husband bought a house in Buffalo. What are the chances? Here's the top 5 places where we see this increase. Metro area annual change in home prices. Memphis, Tennessee, 1.3%. So Memphis, Tennessee they said ranked the highest for overall for being overvalued, but they're saying that the annual change in home prices went down. Median sales price in March 2024 for Memphis, Tennessee was $172,000. Buffalo, Chautauqua, Niagara Falls, 177 and a 4.5% annual change in home price. Indianapolis, Carmel, Anderson, 6.2% annual home price increase. 240,000. Man, I wish Maryland had any of these numbers on the screen. 172, 172, 177. Probably parts in Baltimore, but it's probably a damn crack house. Anyways, Milwaukee, 5.9% increase, 185,000 for the house in the Nashville area. Speaking of Nashville, Frank, talking about it, 1.1%, then 474,000. To be sure, home prices in Memphis were down. To be sure, home prices in Memphis were down 1.3% from a year earlier based on Fitch's analysis, but home valuations had still risen over the previous 5 years. The median sale price of a home in the metro area was $172,000 March 2024. This is according from Redfin. In the current environment of high rates and high prices is here to stay. Yes, anyone could have told you that, at least for the time being. I mean, if the market goes down, is that a good thing? Like if the market goes down, people will start losing their jobs, losing houses. In short, the 2008 situation, that wouldn't be a good thing, right? We don't want people to lose like their jobs en masse, right? We don't want people to be defaulting on their mortgages, right? Having foreclosures. We don't want that to occur en masse, right? That's not good when people go through those situations, right? High mortgage rates and bidding wars make homeownership unaffordable for many Americans. Home buyers today would need to earn more than $100K to afford monthly housing costs and a median price. And 100K is the minimum. They need to earn more than 100K is the minimum. And 2 people working full time with no children should I wouldn't say bringing 100K easy, because I don't know every single state, but you should be able to bring 100K in relatively easy. And these metropolitan areas, that should be nothing but 2 people working. It should be nothing but 1 person working, but don't put too much pressure on people. I don't want everybody to get upset. We already talked about how Gen Z was crying and everything about when it came to taxes. Was it 25% of them was crying about the thought of taxes, and then it happened yet? Anyways, 2 people working 100K should not be a hard feat. Again, we always talk about this. No one wants to talk about the debt being the reason that people are struggling, not mortgage. I mean, people trying to get a mortgage, right? So we're not talking about mortgage debt in this situation, but people struggling due to their debt and not able to save. And then if you do want to get the loan, right, your DTI is too high. And then again, not being able to pay down your debt. So you got high credit utilization. And so your credit is trash as far as your credit score. With the Federal Reserve not likely to cut interest rates in the immediate term, I thought they were going to cut interest rates. I thought going out of 2023, going into 2024, the internet was saying interest rates are going to get lower this year. Don't try to predict the market. The exceptionally low mortgage rates of the pandemic are now a thing of the past. Duh. Fitch said, as a result, consumers are recalibrating their housing market expectations to align with the new norm of higher mortgage rates and home prices. See, mortgage rates are higher than what they were during the pandemic, that 2-3% range that we were seeing, but they're not high, right? I mean, someone who was paying mortgages for people, I was paying the mortgages in 2012, that 5-7% range, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I believe that's what the median is in that 6% range over time. I mean, all time. There we go. Historical mortgage rates. Here's a chart. There we go. Just show everybody real quick. Historical mortgage rates. This is by money.usnews.com by decade. And look, we're seeing. I mean, you're seeing it being crazy low, but again, we're coming out the 2000 bubble here. All my emails just popping up. I guess sensational. Right. So I mean, it's nothing crazy. We had that peak here in the what was it, late 70s, early 80s. Right. The 80s stagflation. Shout out to President Carter. I believe that's when he was president. Right. But we see it going down essentially steadily since then. Right. But being in that, but you have to think the mortgage that your parents got, right, in the depending on how old you are, but in the 90s, 2000s range, right, it's going to be in that 5 to 7% range, 8% range. I mean, look at the interest rates in the 90s. The minimum rate was in the 90s was 6.4, right? 2000 was 4.7. I mean, again, this is what it is. And even though I was paying mortgages in 2012, again, people they was getting their mortgages, the ones I was paying. People had mortgages from 2000s and 90s. So seeing the 6-7% range, 8%, that was not the norm. So I'm telling y'all to accept that mortgage rates are higher. You're having FOMO because of the panorama, but mortgage rates aren't quote unquote high. Now when we start getting closer to double digits, we start getting that 9, getting well above 8, into that 9, and we start seeing, high 9s and 10% plus. Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Being in that 5 to 7% range right now, we're hanging in that upper 6, low 7% range, depending on what day it is, what you're seeing, or what the banks are giving out there. That's not out of the norm. To that, and home price growth could slow down from 5.5% in 2023 to 3% or even 0% in 2024. The company said, which would be the slowest pace of growth since 2019. All right, again, sit you all locked and loaded. End of the episode. Again, homes are overvalued in much of the U.S., with these 5 states leading the list. Again, by Arathi Swaminathan. I'm struggling with that name. Look, y'all. Necessities that pay investments lifestyle. No, the value of the homes, kind of they are what they are in the sense of you can't control the market, and you got to understand whatever your price range is for a home. Most people are going to tell you to base how much you can afford from a housing standpoint from a percentage of your income. And so, how math works, right? If you're going to do it based off percentage of your income, then you take that monthly payment based off percentage of income. Usually no more than 25%. Some people are more aggressive. They might say around 20%, but usually no more than 25%. So if you make $10,000 a month, then your mortgage payment can be, or your rent, whatever your housing payment, no more than $2,500. Now, by the way, $10,000 a month net, right? Net is $120,000 a year. But a lot of times people base that 25% more off your take-home pay, which would be really just after insured taxes are taken out. They don't have you equate if you're putting into retirement or if you're putting into your healthcare and things like that come out. So it's based off your taxes. So you got to do a little funny math. But if you just want to do long story short, you just do it based off of your net to make it simple. I mean, $10,000 a month net is a lot of money. Most people aren't making $10,000 a month net for the household income. That's $120,000 a year. Okay, the median nor average income for America is $120,000. Nor is it for that for any state. But a lot of people in these metropolitan areas, they're paying well over $2,500 a month in rent or in their mortgage. And so in that case, what you need to do is just accept what $2,500 can get you in whatever environment you're in, and you take that math based off what you can put down and based off what interest rates are. You're gonna get a 15-year or 30-year. Recommend you get a 15, but depending on if you're gonna get a 15 or 30-year for your term length, and then see what that turns you out with current interest rates for a mortgage, and that's your price. Don't pay more as far as not overvalue, but pay more when it comes to how much a percentage is your mortgage is in your budget, because the value, the area you want to live at, you could afford during the pandemic when it was 3%, but you didn't have the money saved up then from a down payment perspective, or you just weren't in the financial situation. And so now when you make enough money, if you made that amount of money in the past, But now in the present, the interest rates have gone up. Technically, the future, depending on how you want to look at it, interest rates have gone up. Now you're all upset, and it's like that's just how things work. All right, so you're better off, instead of trying to time the market, getting in what you can afford. Now, don't buy a house you quote unquote don't want, right? Don't just buy a house to buy a house. I'm not saying just to buy a house to buy a house, but do your research, your proper due diligence on the houses that are in your price range. And that just is what it is, because when you factor in the maintenance, factor in property tax. See, a lot of people, your mortgage, is petty, so principal, interest, tax, and insurance. The principal and interest don't change, or your amortization schedule, but those taxes and insurance will change, and so your mortgage rate might end up going up year over year, just because the taxes go up and your insurance might go up. And we talk about these homes being overvalued, regardless if they're overvalued or not. The insurance companies are likely going to raise the insurance premiums because the value of the homes are increasing. It happened with the pandemic. Interest rates for some people, myself though, in this situation, the monthly premium is starting to go down. And my assumption is because, used car value prices are starting to go back to what they should be. But, when we in that situation where used cars had their value increasing, what can insurance companies do but increase your insurance rate, your monthly premium, because they got to cover your car. I mean, your car is worth more. So why would you not have to pay more in insurance to cover it? Right now, you might be mad that you got to pay more insurance than you did when you got your car new, and your car is worth less than what it was the day you bought it, but you're paying more in insurance. I understand that, being upset there, but that's just the case when we see these homes being overvalued in this Fitch ratings report. You got to factor in the fact that by the way, your taxes go up too, because taxes are based on property value. I'm sitting here talking about tax and insurance going up. I completely missed the fact that taxes will go up as well. With these homes being overvalued, they're going to, whatever they value that is what they're paying. And that's one thing too. If everyone's overpaying, think about this. If everyone decides to overpay for the home, what do you want the banks, or the county, the state, wherever you live at, what do you want them to do when it comes to the value of your home and assessing the banks, the insurance companies, and the government when it comes to assessing the value of your home? It's like, I mean, all y'all decided to pay $500,000 on the block for these houses, so we gotta, charge you interest. I mean, not interest, charge you insurance and taxes based off the value of these homes. I believe the value of your homes from a tax standpoint is based off of the homes that were sold in the last 3 most recent home sales. So obviously, when you buy your house is going to take into account, I believe. But I think it's the last 3 homes that were sold, something like that. But you can do homestead things, at least in Maryland. I believe it's the Homestead Act. Yeah, Maryland Homestead Property Tax Credit Program. Don't know what it is for other states, but you can Google the Maryland Homestead Property Tax Credit Program, which in short is going to make it so you don't have a crazy increase with your taxes. You have to Google for the other states out there exactly what it is. All right. But that's it, y'all. Locked and loaded. End of the episode. Make sure y'all comment, like, share, and subscribe. Shout out to the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you leave those rating reviews on the podcast platforms as well. My information, as well as my coach Jordan information, can be found on the description on YouTube. I was supposed to tell y'all to comment, like, share, and subscribe in the middle of the video. I didn't do that. Make sure y'all comment, like, share, subscribe. Again, appreciate y'all engaging with us, running the numbers up, leaving comments, adding more books to my list of books that I need to read, all that type of stuff. Jordan Stop Stalling J. His business page is FinallyFit.live, where you can go to sign up for the 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time virtual training sessions. And then I'm Cory for the financial information. All right. Look, y'all, mortgages is what it is. My wife and I mean, we slowly but surely ramping up on looking for a house, and it is what it is. Now we're in a situation where we're not gonna have to pay property. We don't pay property tax. I didn't say that. That's what I was gonna say. Because I've been talking to y'all about my wife putting in for 100%. She secured that 100% PNT. So we're saying that we're not worried about property taxes over here. Now we are going to most likely 99% chance use the VA loan. With the VA loan, you don't have to put any money down. We're still gonna put money down. But as far as what you have to do, so we gotta pay for closing costs, obviously. But we have to put the money down since she's a disabled veteran. We don't have to pay the VA's version of a PMI. So again, you got to look at the benefits out there. But now we're going to have to pay property taxes either. All right. So I mean, everybody's recent finance situation / the resources that they bring to their household is different, but you got to look at the situation that you're in and operate as best you can for your situation. That's why it's personal finance, right? Everybody's personal financial situation is different. We can give you general stuff out here that we think you should execute on. This is why I meet with people individually to see exactly where they're going on. Because you equate people's kids into the situation, people's medical issues that they may or may not have, all that type of stuff. I can just speak generally to it. I generally think that but I want to speak over y'all that you're healthy. Although in America, in general, most people are not healthy. So maybe I should assume that y'all are not doing, good from a health standpoint. But Jordan isn't here to, have the voice of reason from like an expert standpoint, so to speak, on what people's health situations. So if I say something wild, Jordan come in, with his personal trainer certification, things like that, and be like, "That's not the situation, Cory." But in America, most people, most people are struggling financially. Most people are struggling financially in America, and most people are struggling from a health standpoint in America. Every now and then, when I see something crazy like some food thing, I'm like, man, heart disease is going to be undefeated. Panorama, right? All those people died during the panorama, but still, number one thing was heart disease. People complain about cancer too. Number one thing is still heart disease. All right, so I need to exercise. Drink water, stretch, get on a budget. Take care of your health. Your health is your wealth. But those are things that people got to think about when they're factoring in what they're going to get from a mortgage standpoint. All right, that's it, y'all. Locked and loaded. Remember to save more and say less. Keep making better your mind. Y'all, I'm not tired. I am tired, but whatever. Remember to save more and say less. Keep making better your best. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.